Hello and a huge welcome. Today, I want to talk about the CEO identity that has helped me quantum leap my businesses. And not only myself, but a lot of my clients have used this framework to completely elevate their business, going like 7x, 5x, 10x within months. This is really insane. A point came in my life when I found myself constantly feeling like I have so much to do and I don't have enough time. And what I was realizing was that I was constantly thinking, there is not enough time, there is not enough time. And then I would experience that because it was a self-fulfilling prophecy, that I would start my day and very, very quickly, I wouldn't be done with everything and the day would be gone. And I would be constantly having this feeling, I wish I could do more, but now I have to pick the kids up. I cannot do it anymore. I don't have enough time. And that's when I had this huge breakthrough that CEOs don't make time moves, because time doesn't make you rich. If time made you rich, the oldest person would be the richest. It's the power moves that make you rich, but power moves have to be backed by the empowered identity. If your identity and your frequency is not there, your moves are not going to be powered moves. But you can make powered moves when you understand and when you tap into that identity and you realize that you can create a lot of power, money, influence, change, and value and impact with a very less time. So we are told in physics and maths, which are literally playing with our mind and the way we operate and the quantum leaps we are making, because we are told the linear way to live. And when we enter into the quantum realm, when we tap into the idea of quantum leaping, the real world maths doesn't exist. It's not that when you do more, you have more. Addition at 2 plus 2 just make up 4. You start to tap into the quantum realm when 2 plus 2 backed by the higher frequency can make 400, 4,000, 4 million, because there is energetics involved, there is frequency involved. And in physics, we are told if you go faster, you're going to get to more distance. But that's not true, because if you go faster, cops might stop you. You might get a ticket for speeding. You might miss the turning. So it's not the faster and more. It's about who you're being. What is your identity? How you see yourself? Because that's how you act and that's how you attract. That's your dominant frequency for the law of attraction. That's based on that frequency you are attracting from the quantum. So what I realized was that the power moves takes no time. And you have seen whenever any idea clicks or anything works or a client signs up or the business grows, it happens in seconds. But we make ourselves into believing that it's going to take a lot longer. And that's why it takes longer, because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy again. What we want to understand is that the more power moves you make, the less time you will need, because time doesn't even exist. It's the frequency that's constantly transmuting. One thing that I really get my clients to get very, very clear is that there is no such thing as present, past, future. It's not that you're living in present right now and the future will be something else. It's just now. Everything is just now and now and now. And now transmutes into, based on your frequency, your dominant frequency, based on how you see yourself, because that dictates your frequency. And then you attract and act to create more from now. That could be if you're just using your current reality to base your identity on. So if you're saying, because I don't have a lot of money, so I'm not rich, so I'm average, whatever, you will create the next thing, the next phase based on that. What is really transmuting is now based on what frequency you're holding. And you can change that by tapping into the bigger identity. And identity shifts come from within. It doesn't come from outside. When scientists first time stumbled on this thing of quantum leap, what they realized was that a particle, an electron, right, which is going around the orbit, going around the nucleus, all of a sudden just jumps and goes to the higher orbit, and nothing changes, nothing happens. And they called it quantum leap because it was a leap. They said, what if the same thing happens for humans? With us, the way it happens is we have this internal identity shift where we're like, hold on a second, who am I? Who am I? I am successful now. I'm not waiting for success to decide that I'm successful. And a lot of my clients ask me this question, like, what does it mean decide? Decide means you no longer hang on to the whole old. That means the particle jumps all in. So when the particle is jumping, it's not thinking, okay, I need to keep a little bit of my support on the earlier orbit because I'm gonna fall. Whatever I fall in the middle, it just jumps. It's just let go of the old. You let go of the old mentally, and in your body, all the blocks and the things that are stored in your body, you release them. You feel them, you release them, you just let go of them, you process them. Mentally, you let go of the ideas that this is not gonna work, this is not how I have to be, it has to take a lot of time, it will take me longer, you just let go of all of that, you process that, you shift that, and you experience an internal identity shift. Hold on, I am successful right now. I am successful. And when you do that, you are already not on the earlier orbit now. You have already leaped. And then what we start to do is we start to say, oh, if I was successful right now, what would I be doing? Oh, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be spending time overthinking. I wouldn't be spending time looking at other people scrolling through social media for inspiration. I wouldn't be spending time watching YouTube videos too much. And I want you to watch this video because this is where you'll get the answer, but not like endless whole of YouTube video. You're watching one thing and the next, and before you know it, the whole day is gone and all you've done is just watching. But in fact, what I'm doing is I am making the power moves because I am success now. The answer to the power moves is, what would you be doing if you already were and if you already had the result that you desire? If you already run a multi-million-dollar business, what would you be doing? The answer is, I would be selling. Then go and sell. But I don't have nothing to sell. Then create an offer or create a product and sell. Then I need people. I would love people to know about my brand. Absolutely. Your multi-million-dollar self would have great branding. Let's create the branding from that energy, from that frequency. That is your power move. Because that is not coming from here. Because here it's, let's look for inspiration. Nothing is working. I need to look for the answers. When you get on the frequency, the answers are different. The answers is, what would be my multi-million-dollar branding? Now, the current identity would say, okay, let's look around and look for inspiration. The identity which is embodied and which is truest and which is fully embodied will say, what would it feel like? What is the branding that would really inspire me? Because my clients are the projection of me. They're energetic match for me. Whatever matters to me, whatever I care about, they would probably like that as well. Because when I get on my highest frequency, I attract them. Let's get on that frequency and feel, what would I love? And then you start getting the answer. I would say this, and I would have this brand, and I would use this colors, and I will have this message, and I would love this, and that's what I'd really care about. That's what really lights me up. That's what really puts my soul on fire. Let me create from that place. And now it's your truth. It's your authentic voice. It's who you really are. It's not fabricated version of somebody else. So the more you start to move from the end with the vision, the more you get into the power move because the answers are on that frequency. What I started doing was I said to myself, if I already had a very, very successful business, what would I be doing? I focused on my revenue, I focused on strategic relationships, I focused on brand elevation. So these are the things that power CEOs really focus on. I would repeat: brand elevation, strategic relationship, like having one conversation with the right contact can quantum leap your result in seconds. You don't need a lot of time. And then selling, because if you're not selling, how are you bringing in the revenue? And I started doing all three things. From the energy of I am successful right now, because the answers were not on this frequency, I started to attract crazy level of success. Everything started to work. And the biggest breakthrough that I had was I realized before that I was just filling my time with the things that didn't move the needle, that didn't do anything. But I was constantly just saying I don't have enough time. And then I was attracting more of those things, more of those incidents, more of the problems, more of unnecessary things. My mind was focusing on all of them because I was saying that constantly. When you step into that identity, when you step into that dimension, when you start asking that version of you, when you start operating from that place that I have it already, what would I be doing? why are we doing this? Let's do this. Oh, but I don't have this. Let's create this. You start to close the gap. Because now you're living on 2 dimensions. 1 dimension of your physical reality, so you're operating here physically, but you're coming from there. The way to collapse time is being multi-dimensional. And in order to fuel that, the thing that really works is the identity work. Because what you want to understand is that your old identity will keep pulling you back. It's going to keep telling you it's not going to work. You'll feel resistance. I've seen with a lot of people, like, they get ill because this old identity is actually telling your nervous system to stop. It controls your nervous system. It makes every effort for you to stop because it's meant to keep you at that level. What start to happen to some people is they start to feel ill. They start to attract a lot of problems or doubts or resistance or procrastination. What you want to really do is, as you're making all these moves, you want to constantly focusing on releasing the old identity and embodying the new one. I teach my clients creating their power identity script by using a lot of tools, and also releasing the old identity at a body level because it's stored in your body parts. As you start to tap into that, you feel a sensation in your tummy, you feel a sensation in your heart. Like, if I say to you right now, check your bank account in your mind. You imagine, if you use an app or if you're using something, check your bank account in your mind. Do it the way you do it normally. And where do you feel it? Where do you feel the sensation? That's where the blocks are stored. Think about money. Think about money running out. Where does it feel? That's where your blocks are stored. The key is to keep releasing the new, because remember, in the quantum leaping, the particle just leaves the older orbit. You cannot just stay in the new orbit just in case it doesn't work and keep wanting the new. You have to choose your orbit. This is really important, right? And when you completely let go and just jump, you trust that you will get on that orbit. And then the question a lot of people ask me is, what if I don't? What if I don't? What if I don't get what I want? And I tell them, you'll be fine. If you are okay, and I'm not saying that it will happen, because any idea that is held in the mind, according to Andrew Carnegie, who was the first ever billionaire, any idea that is held in the mind, either feared or revered, it begins to clothe itself in the most convenient way. So everything that you hold in your mind has to manifest, but sometimes we are so focused on what if it doesn't, that we don't become an energetic match because we are too scared to fail, because then we will be disappointed. So what we are really worried about is disappointment. I went all in, I jumped, and it didn't work. I feel stupid. I'm disappointed. I was wrong. What we really don't want is being wrong. Like really going in and realizing it didn't work. And when you build that resilience, when you're like, you know what, even if it doesn't work, I'll be fine. I'll be okay. You become a match, because now your mind stops focusing on what if you lose, and it starts fully focusing on winning. Because when you connect losing to your survival, now your mind's priority is to make sure you're okay. The key is when you realize, what is the worst case? And I do this with my clients. I remember Bob Proctor doing it in a lot of calls. What is the worst case? What will happen? And what we realize is, worst case is not as bad. What will happen? Oh, I won't have the house of my dreams. I'll be fine, right? So sometimes, in order to not be disappointed, we just keep playing small so that we don't get disappointed. But when we build the emotional intelligence that I will be fine, you can try again, you will be okay, nothing bad is going to happen. Or there is a backup thing that, and I remember when I was starting my business, my thing was, our kids go to private school. We have a million pound house, and now I've manifested another house. But how would we maintain? And I was like, I'll keep doing the job. I'm in a really good corporate job. It's a very high paying job. I'll do that. I'll be okay. That's not something I would love, because I wouldn't be living my purpose, but I'll be okay. When we understand that it's the disappointment wound, and it's not even the consequences that scares us, because if that happens, the consequences are actually normally not as bad. They're not what you desire, but they're not like, you're not going to die. Your family is going to be okay. You'll be fine. My kid will still be okay. We'll still be living in that house. But it's the fear of being wrong. I would be wrong. What would everybody say? I was wrong. I would feel stupid. That is the thing. If you're okay with that, you will go all in. Otherwise, you will stay in that orbit just in case. You will still hold on to one thing just in case. And A lot of times we hear this, that whatever you fear the most, you manifest. And what I feel is that that actually happens for us. Because if you fear something the most, what God, the universe does, it shows it to us and says, look, it wasn't as bad. It's like a rite of passage. You can cross it, right? The fear of things going wrong is not as bad. It's not as bad like we make it in our head. And the reason we manifest a fear is because of that reason, because we turn it into a huge thing. If it doesn't work, you'll be fine. But what if it does? What if it does? So this phrase, what if, really helps me, because if I say to myself, do I have 100% guarantee that it's going to work? Of course, it always works, but I don't have 100% guarantee it's going to work straight away, like now. But if I'm okay with that, because my desire ascends all the fears and everything, and I realize fears are not even that bad, I'm happy to leave the orbit, then you become a match, and your mind completely attuned to what if it's possible. Ask yourself, what if it works? How would you be living if it's already worked? Because the truth is, it's already done. That's why you have tapped into that dimension. Otherwise, you couldn't have seen it in your imagination if it wasn't there. So it already exists. What if you lock yourself into it and jump from the orbit? Then it already works.